Oh, your YouTube was being fussy. Well, I'm glad you finally were able to make it. So let's go ahead and get started. We're just 2 minutes away. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Christmas in July, everyone. I am so excited to be doing this with you guys. I do have some topics lined up, like I was explaining to you guys before, but I really want this to be about you guys. So if you have anything that you already want to ask or share or comment on, go ahead and just start entering it into the chat line now, and we can go ahead and get started. I do have a couple of things that I wanted to bring to your attention because Lemax was, you guys know, I think I've shared this with you guys before. I love Lemax products. They actually sent me some Carnival pieces this year, and I am over the moon excited about it because the two things that I've wanted to do since I started villaging was doing a carnival and a zoo. And I actually will be able to do that in my village this year. So super excited. I have a few of the pieces here that they sent me. So we can go over that. I'll show you guys how cute they are. These are pieces that you haven't seen yet. But one of the things that I wanted to show you specifically was the carousel, because this carousel does not have any riders on it. And it's the Lemax Grand Carousel. This was my favorite carousel that they have. There are some other carousels they have that are smaller that do have riders, but I really wanted this one. So Robin, are you on yet? Robin and I had been talking about this last year, and he had mentioned that he was going to make some figurines for this carousel. And I thought, wow, like he's got to be pretty talented to be able to pull that off, making his own figurines. You guys, he did it. I actually bought some. Let me show you. See if I can get this in camera right. Look at how cute. Good morning, Liz. Look at how cute these riders are. They don't come painted. I did paint them myself. But there's like 3 or 4 different versions of these guys that you can get. And they fit very nicely on the carousel. So let me show you really quick and get one of these guys on here. So what I'm going to do when it becomes time is just hot glue them down on the seats. Either that or like Gorilla Glue them down, but they fit really nice. So he is actually willing to make these. If you guys have a grand carousel that you want riders for, he is willing to make them for you. And you can email him directly at redbird254@yahoo.com. Honey, can you write that in the comments for everyone? This email address right here. Again, that is redbird254@yahoo.com. He will take your orders and go over pricing. They usually ship out in about 7 to 10 days from the time, from the time I placed my order. I think I got it 10 days later. So they're really super cute. They're already dimensionally accurate for this carousel. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely contact Robin. Okay, so let's see. Good morning, Monica from North Dakota. Robin must be out somewhere with that. He would actually love it if you said that, because he is so into DC and Marvels and all of that. He is actually the Spider-Man fan. I'm actually really shocked he's not on yet because I thought he'd be the first one on. Good morning, Brittany. Yes, it is really cool. And they actually, the figurines came out really nice. So that's really exciting. Okay, now everybody should be able to see your comment, honey. I had to approve it. So under, under TMDDTM, you will see that almost the second to the last comment is the Carnival ride pieces. That's Robin's email address where you guys can write that down, send him a message, and let him know if you want to place an order for those Carnival ride pieces. So what do you guys tell me? Kind of, I have some topics lined up. You guys can tell me what you want to address first. So I thought we could cover like hobby supplies, where to find them, trees, different type of trees that I get a lot of comments on my trees in my village a lot. And what do I use? How do I make them? Different things like that. Build projects, if you're going to be making something like my big mountain that I made last year that's behind me. The build times, layout designs, equipment, paint, tools, all of that kind of stuff. So you guys tell me what you want to talk about first. I have a preformed waterfall for a pond that I want to use for a ski slope. And I wondered how I could modify it. Is it, Veronica, is that a preformed waterfall? What is it made out of? Do you know? And is it hard? It's made out of plastic, and yes, it is hard. Can you remove it from what it is attached to? And just so you guys know, when I was testing this out with my husband, I did notice that there's like a 15 to 20 second delay from when I'm actually speaking to when you hear me, and also when your comments come through, there is a slight delay. This is news for me because this is my first live stream. You guys might be pros at this already and know this information. I have a picture of it, but I don't know how to load it. You can email it to me, Veronica. I have my phone right here. I can pull a picture up on, you can email me and I'll pull the picture up on my phone. But you can email it to Miriam's Manor, MIRIAMSMANNER @gmail.com. And let me type that for you really quick. Shoot me a picture over it. Shoot me over a picture and then I'll look at it for you and I'll be able to. Good morning, Robin. I already talked about you. Where have you been? Okay, sounds good, Veronica. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the hobby supplies because I actually received a question the other day from someone of where do you find all of your supplies to build your dioramas? And I actually get my supplies from a variety of places. I first shop online. There's a company called Woodland Scenics. If you guys have seen any of my other builds, you know that I love using their products a lot when it comes to like the waterfall, the realistic water, and things like that. They also have an entire line of products for ground cover, things you can make icicles with, ripples in the water if you're doing anything water related, products that you can make frozen ponds with. And they are, you can just look them up online, woodlandscenics.com. Amazon also sells a lot of their products. So if you type in your search engine in Amazon, Woodland Scenics, it'll come up with a whole host of different products that they offer. So I know that Amazon sometimes will have stuff on Prime for Woodland Scenics, whereas when I've ordered directly through Woodland Scenics, their shipping is actually a little bit more expensive. Excuse me, I want to say it was like $20 for the shipping one time for one bottle of realistic water. And I ordered it through Prime for free shipping. So there you go. They have nice YouTube videos. How to, yes, thank you, Mimi Life, or Mem Life, sorry. They do. They have a ton of good how-to videos on YouTube and how to use their Woodland Scenic products. You can actually get a lot of cool design ideas and build ideas and just kind of follow along with what they do for their builds with using their products. They have, I know last year I got a lot of questions on how to make a skate pond or an icy pond. And I sent out their video to several of you who emailed me last year to refer to their video and use their products because it really was fantastic. So Robin says, how did you get started in creating Christmas villages? Well, I got started about 5 years ago. My mother and I moved in with my mother for a few months because I had sold my old house, but my new house wasn't being built yet. So we stayed with her for an interim period of about 3 months, and it was actually through the Christmas season. And I had actually never heard of Christmas villages, you guys, until 5 years ago. My mom had saw something, I think on YouTube, and had mentioned to me, Miriam, do you want to do this? And she was showing me some pictures and she was like, I really think it would be a very cute idea for us to do it this year together. And so our very first village was like technically not like a big layout. We did, my mother has very wide banisters on her stairs. So going up the stairs and on the flat platform, we created a little town on the stair banisters. And a lot of our first pieces, we actually painted ourselves. We got like the little miniature birdhouses and converted them into Christmas village houses. And down the slope part of the stairs, I actually made my first ski lift. So I have some video and some pictures that I took of it a long time ago. Maybe I'll put a video together. The quality is not going to be great because back then I wasn't focusing on making videos for YouTube. But that's how I actually got started in villaging. So the next year when I moved into my home, I had already had some pieces from when my mother and I did it the year before, and it just literally took off from there. I started buying everything, and as you all know, this hobby is very addicting, and it just became what it is today with what my village is today in these short 5 years. So that's how I actually got started with villaging. Okay, so Gomakashi says, I'm interested in making some Woodland Scenics features in advance, such as a forest canopy, which uses real plant material, but it ends up being pretty fragile. I was wondering if you have any storage ideas. I actually do make trees that are out of like the Woodland Scenics moss and things like that. And I actually do too have some that are real branches. So for storage, I actually just put them in a bin that, do I have the bin? Oh, I think it might be that one down there actually, honey.
What do you do?
That bin, yeah. If you could grab that for me. I actually just put them in my bin, but some of the other stuff that I use that is a little bit more fragile, I'll cover it with plastic and keep it up on the top shelf of a closet so that nothing else is bumping into it. And there's really no other way around trying to protect it except putting it up and out of the way when you're using real wood and real moss and things like that. Is this what I have them in? So my other trees, I have them in a bin like this, and they're in a bin with other trees that I use for my village. And I just typically set them on top and make sure there's enough room that the lid isn't going to touch it. Is how I've been storing my trees that I've made from real branches. One of the other things that you can also do is I've actually painted my branches. I noticed that it has helped with the brittleness. The ones that I didn't paint versus the ones that I did have kind of snapped some twigs and branches already. So if you paint them and then put a sealer over the paint, it does seem to help with the sturdiness. And then also my trees that I made with the real moss, I also spray them with the Woodland Scenics Scenic cement. And this is really simple and easy to use. You just buy this bottle and shake it up really good. You put it into this spray bottle and just spray it. And it will harden everything together and solidify it so that it'll last a little bit longer. The trees that I've done this with, I think I made those trees 3 years ago, and they're still in good shape. I'll actually be using them in my village again this year. So far, so good. So I hope that helps. Okay, so Brittany says, this is my first year doing a village and I'm building my own platform without the help of with the help of your videos. I see you use Scenic cement to adhere the terrain to the base. Can you use Mod Podge instead? Absolutely. I actually have used Mod Podge on several other products. So what I'll do when I am doing my ground cover, I will put Mod Podge down first, put my ground cover on top of that, and then make like liquefied Mod Podge, add water to it where it thins it out. So then I can brush it on top of the terrain to adhere it in place. So you can absolutely use Mod Podge. It works just as well. I just prefer when I'm sealing everything to use the Woodland Scenics because it really does harden everything like a cement, but it's just a lot easier to use too. To be able to just spray everything versus brushing everything, it just saves a little bit more time for me, and it's not as messy for cleanup later. So George says, hi Miriam, do you guys put anything on your wood-based platform to help it last longer? George, I have actually not done that. I know Robin actually was talking about last year how he put, I think, a polymer sealant over it. Robin, can you chime in and answer that? I think he was talking about putting a sealant over his wood base. I have not sealed my wood base with anything, and we bought those 4 years ago, honey. Yeah. I've had my wood bases for 4 years now, and they're still in really good shape. They are the plywood?
Yes, pinewood.
Pinewood or plywood?
Plywood.
Plywood. They're the plywood sheets you can buy at Lowe's for like they're 4 feet by 8 feet. And so far, so good for me. And it's been 4 years. It's been 4 years because we got them the year we moved into our house. Okay, Fardine says, I would love to see them. What do you mean, Fardine? I'm just now seeing your comment, so it might have been something that we mentioned before. If you could let me know what you would love to see. Okay, Veronica sent the photo. While I pull that up, I'll go on to Paul's comment. My Lemax buildings always turn up with bits broken off and need gluing back on. Very fragile indeed. I do notice, Paul, I do agree with you there with certain things. If the buildings have a lot of small pieces on them, like the ones that I noticed the most are the police station. it has a lot of different things on the front of the police station, like the street lights, there's a little puppy and a trash can, the motorcycle. And mine actually came with it broken off before as well. But it was easy to just like Gorilla Glue it back on. And I haven't had a problem with it since I actually did Gorilla Glue everything back on. So let's see. Gomachi, oh, it says thank you very much. Okay, Robin says, do you save your old platforms or sell them or destroy them or put them in storage? So I have sold some of my old platforms before. I do get people who ask to buy them or even ask me to make platforms for them. And I started doing that about 3 years ago. I do typically keep the ones that I love, but like for instance, this big guy, if you guys remember seeing my storage video last year, this doesn't fit in the storage closet. I had saved space in my storage closet specifically for this thing, and I can't get it through the closet without breaking off like the tip of the mountain peak, which I might have to end up doing if I want to keep this piece. This was one that I was building long-term that I am so in love with. And this was supposed to be my long-term, like forever go-to mountain. I put a lot of time and money into this mountain. And so I'm really disappointed because I have nowhere to store it. It's just been upstairs in my loft for my kids to enjoy this entire time. So if anyone local wants to come pick this thing up and buy it, it's for sale. I don't know about shipping it because it would probably cost an arm and a leg to ship, but if you want to pay the shipping, it's still for sale. Let's see. Yeah, and I'd have to send you the measurements so I make sure it fits through your doorway. People with double doors, this would not be a problem for. So Monica says, oh, she's answering Gomashi. I use a spare piece of styrofoam that I stick any loose trees and not the evergreens that usually come with plastic piece stand. And I place that on top of everything else. So Gomakashi, if you did not see Monica Folks' comment, she offered a suggestion for you with the trees. And then Robin also says, yes, he uses a clear coat spray paint for his wooden pieces. Okay, so Monica also says the evergreens I also just loosely stack in their own bin and then fluff that they may be squished. So Felicia says, I'm having trouble finding new pieces. Any suggestions? What new pieces are you looking for, Felicia? Have you tried going to ehobbytools.com? They are a Christmas Village distributor. They sell only Lemax products. So if you want something other than Lemax, I would recommend going to another website. Okay, just buildings. Okay, yeah, so go to ehobbytools.com. They ship anywhere worldwide. They have buildings on top of buildings on top of buildings, and they sell everything. Everything Lemax makes, they actually sell and distribute at eHobbyTools. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Lemax puts out an entire line of products every single year, and it's up to the retailer to purchase the entire line and distribute it. Not all retailers buy the entire line. So some of the pieces you may see are very limited if you're shopping in like Michael's or Ace Hardware that sells it and things like that. So ehobbytools.com, they actually sell everything. They buy the entire line every year and sell everything. And so you get a really wide variety of products. Their customer service is awesome. They do a flat rate shipping no matter how much you order. They have a flat rate shipping of $10, and that's including the insurance, so that if something arrives damaged, they'll replace it for you and send you out a new one since your package is automatically insured. So I've been shopping through eHobby for about, I want to say 4 years, and they're fantastic. Dave over there at eHobby is the one who usually helps whenever I call, and they're really fantastic. So try that. Also, you guys, it's Christmas in July at the Goodwill. And guess what's always at the Goodwill? Christmas Village buildings. You will be surprised if I showed you some of the things that I bought from the Goodwill. I found actually this Hawthorne Village piece, this Thomas Kincaid. I found a Thomas Kincaid house at Goodwill for $8. I found this one there like, I want to say 3 years ago. But Goodwill does celebrate Christmas in July, and they always have a lot of buildings. They don't have a ton of accessories, I noticed, but you can always find some really cute buildings, most times in really good shape. Most of the stuff that I've bought from there, they also still have the original packaging, which is really nice for storing it. Okay. Liz says, what type of small lights do you recommend to use for tops of stone walls, bridges, and walkways? The Primer 56 are very expensive. I need lots of them, and I don't want to spend hundreds. So Liz, here's a suggestion for that. You can either buy the fairy lights that they have on Amazon. They're not like specifically for villaging, but you can still use them all the same. They're very small and thin ropes, just like the ones you would buy for Christmas villages. They come in like 25 feet, 50 feet, enough to cover your space, and they're typically around $15. So that hopefully helps. I know that Lemax also makes some that I bought that were multicolored lights. And I want to say they were about $8 for that little pack that I bought. Now, it didn't go very far. It might be like 5 feet. So you might need to buy 2 or 3 of those if you wanted the multicolored lights. But maybe try those fairy lights that you can get on Amazon. Okay. Robin says, your village is so large. When you take it down.
I love this name.
What occupies this space during the off season of the year? Nothing, Robin. This is actually the room here that I village in, but it's also the room that I craft in when my village is not up. So I typically don't do anything in space. You guys, this is technically my formal dining room. Let me show you. Oh, there's my hoodie. So this space here is right off of my formal living room. And so this technically is supposed to be my formal dining room, but I am like conflicted inside because I don't really want a formal dining room because I use this space so much to craft. The floors are very forgiving, have wood floors in here. I can just wipe everything up that as it spills, like the plaster. For those of you who plaster, you know what I mean. It gets very messy. And paint and things like that. I don't have to be like so conscious about taping the floors down and making messes. So I love this space to craft in. I do have another room upstairs that technically I could use, but I just don't want to. So my formal dining room is my craft room. Okay, so George says, okay, do you think the middle of October is too early to start putting up my Christmas Village platform? Absolutely not, George. In my opinion, if it was just me, my village would stay up all year round. My mom actually did keep her village up all year round this year. She's going to take it down at the end of this Christmas season, but her village is actually still up. I am getting started, I think this year, I'm going to start getting everything together in September. I am going to build a carnival base this year, so watch out for those videos that'll be upcoming. But I have a carnival piece that I'm building for my mother first that I'll start sometime the end of this month. And then I'll build one for myself, probably August timeframe. And then after that, I'm gonna actually start working on my village. Why wait? And mine is so large that it takes me quite a bit of time, first of all, just to create and design a new layout. And second, it's never too early for Christmas. George, I think it was you the other day who sent me a comment saying you suffer from OCD, obsessive Christmas disorder. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. And I was like, I suffer from the same thing too. Never too early. Okay, so Monica says, does eHobby Tools have sales or Woodland Scenics? They do have sales, Monica. I have seen them have like 10% off sales, but honestly, their products are by far the cheapest you're going to find anywhere else. The reason I found eHobby was because I was originally buying all of my Lemax products at Michael's, and Michael's markup is ridiculous. If you can't get it on sale at Michael's, you are definitely going to be overpaying for it. I started looking up like cheaper options to buy these products, and that's how I stumbled upon eHobby. And when I was doing all of these price comparisons, even between some of the other Lemax retailers or distributors, I went to, so LemaxCollections.com is Lemax's website. They have all of their retailers on their website. And they have the link, so you can just click on it and it'll open up that company's website. So I did that price matching several different products that I knew I wanted to buy that season. eHobby by far was the cheapest. And from Michael's, they were like $15 to $20 cheaper on some of the things that I wanted to buy. So that's why I started shopping at eHobby in the first place. They do not sell Woodland Scenics products, but maybe we can talk today and see if they can start. That way we can get, like, eHobby can be our one-stop shop. Gomakashi says, eHobby Tools is great and Villages of Fun is also awesome. I have not ordered from Villages of Fun yet. My mother actually has, and she did say that their prices are probably the closest to eHobby. Their customer service was good. She said their pieces were just like $1 or $2 more than eHobby's, but that she had a good experience with them. She actually ordered twice from them. Thank you for that, Gomachi. For those of you who don't know, Villages of Fun is also another distributor for this stuff. Lemax needs, let's see. Paul says Lemax needs to make the Home Alone house as a building. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wait, somebody did make Home Alone. I feel like I've seen Home Alone before in someone else's village.
Now we got to do research.
And now we will have to do research. I'm going to look that up because I'm almost positive I've seen the Home Alone house and the kid going as a figurine. I'm almost positive I've seen that. We'll have to look into that.
Somebody could have.
Gomakashi.
They could have also did the 3D imaging of it too.
Yeah.
So if you get a 3D printer, you can do your own stuff.
Maybe they did. Robin, I think hubby would like a pool table in your crafting formal dining room during the off season.
I already told Robin that you allowed me to have a man cave.
Oh, yeah, Robin has a man cave. His office, his man cave is bigger than my office that I have to actually work from home in. So he's very spoiled. Fairy Light's brilliant. Thank you. You're welcome, Liz. Okay, so Felicia says, my village is against 2 walls. I would love to make some mountains, but not sure where to start. So Felicia, does it butt into like an L shape? Oh, my hands are straight. Like this, where it's like this against two walls. Because I notice for me, when I am building something new, I actually do like to have my tables set up. So I would start there. I know it might be a little bit of extra work, but then you can make sure that your placement is correct and dimensionally accurate. So I would set up my tables, draw on the table how far out you want it to come. And that way you see if you have enough space on the table for anything that you might be wanting to put in front of it. And it also allows you to see how you can layer up the mountains. Like, do you want it to peak at the very top here and then kind of slope down like this, so it'll have a little bit more of like a natural incline? And if you draw it out on the table, then you see the depth of space that you're working with, which will allow you to more accurately plan your slope. Like if you're gonna have houses on certain tiers and things like that. So that would be my suggestion, is set up your table, draw out your outline on your table, and then cut your styrofoam, your base piece, to that shape, and then you can build up from there. I hope that helps. Sorry guys, when your new comments come in, like it brings me back down to the bottom, so then I have to try to like scroll back up and see where I left off. George, I thought that was you. I remember it being you with the OCD. That's funny. So Paul says hubby needs a bar in the basement. Man, you guys are really trying to hook my husband. Oh.
I love your followers. I love your followers.
My husband actually doesn't drink much.
I did tell him I have the pool and the grill. I'm good.
Yeah, we're gonna eventually do an outdoor kitchen, so he'll be okay. Let's see, Liz. I agree, Miriam. I would like to leave mine up all year, but I don't live alone. That's always the issue, isn't it, Liz? See, just like my hubby, you guys need the bar. I need this room all year to leave my village up in.
I told you can keep it up all year. I have said that on this occasion.
No, you only said that once.
Okay. But it's official. They've heard me say it.
Okay, this year it's staying up, guys. When we do Christmas in July next year, I'm going to do it from right there, and you're going to see my whole village behind me. Okay. Ma'am Life, I am trying to have my streets with sidewalks. Do you have ideas for sidewalks? My village takes up the entire dining room too. Oh my gosh, Ma'am Life, I love you. I just buy the sidewalks that are already pre-made in those little bitty rolls. I've bought them, the Lemax version of them, but I actually noticed that I like the Walmart version of the sidewalks a little bit better, because the sidewalk is wider than the typical Lemax ones. The Lemax ones, I want to say, come in like 2.5 inches, but the Walmart ones are about 4 inches wide, and they're cheaper too, and they come in a longer strip, so your money goes a little bit further that way. But I do really like the Walmart's brand. I do know that Department 56 makes an actual like gray concrete look sidewalk. It's pricey. So how bad do you want it? Because it is going to be an investment, and you would have to buy so many of them in order to create like a longer stretch, because I want to say they're only about like it'll probably do about 8 to 10 inches for just the one piece. So if you need a longer stretch of sidewalk, it'll just cost you a little bit more. You can also consider making, if you have a foam cutter that you can like slide things through where you can get your cuts perfect, you can make your own sidewalks. I wouldn't recommend doing it unless you do have the proper tool to cut the foam with, so that it can stay nice and straight, because it's really difficult to get it to the size you need to get it to on both sides and then cutting it across the top. Like most of the times when you cut a line across this way in a piece of styrofoam, it'll be a little wavy and then your sidewalk is going to be wavy. But if you have a foam cutter that is kind of like the tabletop version that you can push a piece of foam through to have it cut where it's going to stay stable and you can cut your lines perfect, then you can make as many sidewalks as you want out of styrofoam and just paint them up to look like concrete. The tabletop styrofoam cutters are a little bit more expensive, but you can find them on sale sometimes on Amazon. So it might be worth looking into. That way you can have that to make other pieces in the future too. Robin says, how do you repackage the Lemax snowflake paragraph after Christmas? Can't get it to fit in the styrofoam box. Robin, I got your back because I actually just shot a video yesterday. I have to edit the footage, but I shot the video. It's a product review video, but I started with a paragraph because I walked through like how to repackage it. So basically you can't put it back in the box with the stairs being directly aligned with the front or the back of the styrofoam. They actually go at an angle. So I'm going to try to hurry up and edit that video so that I can drop it so you can see how to repackage it. It's definitely a tricky one to get back together in that box. Probably the most tricky to repackage after opening. It's one of those ones where you should mark before you take it all apart. So that'll be coming for you, hopefully in the next like 4 to 5 days. Okay. Michelle says, mountains, OMG. Michelle messaged me. She says, Miriam makes it look so easy. Michelle messaged me the other day and was like, you didn't tell me how long this plaster was going to take. And Michelle, I actually, in my notes of things to talk about, look, I put that in you right there because I was like, gosh, Michelle, that's such a good point. I never, in my videos, I thought that I had mentioned it, but maybe I didn't. Talking about the length of time that each part of the build process takes. It was funny because by the time she got to her plaster, she was like, this takes forever. So plastering does take a little bit of time. Mountains in general, building them take quite a bit of time. I have a mindset of I will never try to build a mountain in 1 to 2 days. It's just not feasible. That's why I start so early so that I can give myself enough time. Because I did one project that I did in like 2 or 3 days, and I found myself rushing through it and cutting corners that my anal self normally wouldn't do. So I recommend on any project that you're going to do, set aside enough time, at least like 2 weeks, to give yourself to do it from start to finish, because some of this stuff, you can't help the length of time it takes. When you are assembling your styrofoam pieces initially, you should really wait 4 to 6 hours for drying time before you start cutting into that foam, because not necessarily for the piece itself, but for your tools. So once you've glued all your styrofoam pieces together and you're ready to start carving some things out, I know the reason why I originally damaged my first hot knife was because I was trying to force it through glue that had not yet fully dried. And I wasn't being patient, and I ended up bending my tool. I reused that tool over and over and over again to the point where it just wiggled terribly. I finally bought myself a new hot knife last year, but, oh no, I bought it earlier this year. But definitely give yourself that dry time so that you don't damage your tools. Not only that, you're gonna have more glue and foam residue on that blade, which can get harder to clean off your blade. So some of the things in the process of building just take time. 4 to 6 hours of dry time you should do when you assemble all of your styrofoam before you're cutting into it. Your rock formations, depending on what you do, if you are using paper like newspaper to make rock formations, that takes a really long time because you have to wait for the glue to get tacky enough and hold that piece until it sticks enough to let it go to move on to the next rock formation. I do recommend using like the greenery pins or the floral pins that you kind of push in. They're the pins that are like a little U shape. So you can use those to hold in the paper so that you can move on to the next rock. The styrofoam, if you're using a bunch of old styrofoam pieces to adhere to make your rock formations on your mountain, that is like glue it, pop it, move on. They just stick. It's beautiful. There's no wait time between that. The rock formations with styrofoam typically take me on like this large project about maybe an hour to put on, versus paper takes about 2 to 3 hours. So depending on what look you're going for, this is a mixture of paper and styrofoam on this one. The paper definitely took me so much longer. So just keep that in mind depending on which style you choose to go with. Paint. Paint can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours to paint your project, depending on how many layers of paint you need, as well as 20 minutes of drying time between each layer. So keep that in mind. And so, and plaster takes, this project here, I plastered this for about a week. This is a really big mountain. I plastered probably total about 6 hours of plastering time between getting the 2 layers up. I like to let my first set of plaster dry about at least 8 hours or overnight before I will adhere the second layer. So depending on if your project is large or smaller, that time is going to adjust. But I would say estimate at least like total work time, at least probably 4 hours. So this is why I just don't ever try to build anything in a short period of time. I space out each part of the process so that I'm not overwhelmed. And obviously we all have lives and family and jobs and things like that that we have to tend to outside of our passions. So I typically work a project and I'll work on it for like 2 hours at a time and move on. Let's see. I can't wait to see your mountain though, Michelle. I'm really looking forward to seeing your finished product. Okay, so MemLife says, I've used both and also paper from Michael's. Yes, it's pricey. Foam is ideal. Lloyd said, I found a picture of Pixabay.
Oh,
Huh?
I found a picture on Pixabay.
Oh, on Pixabay of cobblestone and just had it enlarged and printed up at Staples from Mom's Village last year. Oh, that's such a great idea. See, this is why I wanted to get us all together, because we can all share these wonderful ideas and help each other out. Lloyd, now that you mention it, the road, that cobblestone road that I sent out the link to, like in my last quick tip video, that could also be adhered. I saw people get plywood, really like 1/8 of an inch sheets of plywood, and put the cobblestone road, glue it on top of plywood. So you could also do that for your sidewalks. That's a very good point. Thanks, Lloyd. And make affordable sidewalks that way. Michelle says, have you ever created walls instead of a fence to go around a house? Yes, I think in my second village I ever did. I did create a little like retaining wall. Is that what you mean, Michelle? I created like a little 3-inch retaining wall to go between houses before. And it actually came out super cute. My mom also, if you guys check out her village, I have her village on my YouTube channel as well. She has several little retaining walls that she also made that you can see in her village and see how they turned out. That works really well. I am, you guys, a styrofoam junkie. My husband does not like it. If a package comes with styrofoam in it, I save it. I save all of it. And sometimes you get the perfect pieces of styrofoam to make those retaining walls. And they're perfect because they're already perfectly cut and perfectly straight. So then all you have to do is carve into them with your X-Acto knife or your hot knife and make a pattern of brick or stone. So I recommend if you have packages and you open them and you see you can use it for something like that, keep those pieces of styrofoam and hide them from your significant other.
You can't hide it.
I have a whole garage full of styrofoam. Okay, so Paul says, I love the little Lemax outdoor fires. Oh, I know. Aren't they so awesome? So on the other side of this mountain, I had the people who are in the cave, like roasting marshmallows. And Lemax actually sent me another one this year. Honey, do you see it down there? Oh, it's in my office. Never mind. I was going to show them the little campfire thing Lemax sent me. It's in my office. They sent me, I'm not sure if it came out just this year, but I don't recall seeing it on their website any other year. So I'm saying that it came out just this year, but if I'm wrong on that, somebody let me know. But it's so cute. It's got some folks sitting around a campfire and the little fire lights up. I can't wait to use it. It's going to be so much fun. Memlife says, I just have the handled one foam cutter. Thanks. Okay. We'll look into the larger foam cutter. Liz is responding to Michelle saying, I made walls using styrofoam using a hot cutting table. Oh, Liz, see, you have the cutting table. Liz, can you tell us how much that table was and where you got it from, if you don't mind? Memlife says, thanks, Lloyd. Okay, Robin says, Santa wants to send Dewan and Aaliyah and a new piece for their personal village, not hand-me-downs. From Mom. Any suggestions for the junior villagers? That's so sweet. Because they do only get my hand-me-downs.
But your hand-me-downs are awesome. So
some of them aren't. Some of their buildings are like, eh. But my daughter loves dogs and creatures and anything that has like a little dog or puppy in it, a little figurine or anything like that. Like she is definitely a nature lover and an animal lover. My son loves science. He loves anything that is science related. So like an observatory or something like that would probably be right up his alley. Monica says, I was answering Memlife. I'm buying the foam tools for this year. I'm so excited. Last year I used a spoon and butter knife. Monica, I remember you telling me that, but your stuff still came out so amazing. You guys, Monica's project that she made is in the video of the subscriber tribute. I put the names of each person before their villages. And her stuff, I remember her telling me that she used spoons and kitchen knives, and I was like, what? But her village pieces came out so amazing. I was so stunned. It's gorgeous. And I love the lights that came down the ski slope. So you guys go check out that video so you can see what Monica did with a spoon and a knife. This is what I love about villaging, because we can get creative as we want. And there are things that we wouldn't normally use, but we can repurpose it in our villages. I save almost everything for my villages. There's so many things that I look at that maybe are used for something entirely different. And I'm like, that's a good village piece. This would be used really good for a village piece. Just like, for example, while I have these right here, my trees. This is just like a regular floral stem you would use in like a vase. But I use them to add color to my village with the trees. And because I use a styrofoam base on top of my plywood, I just literally stick this into the styrofoam. I don't hot glue it down or anything. I just shove it in there and it stays. And then I have a pretty little tree. One thing that I do make sure when I'm buying floral stems or floral picks to use as trees, I make sure that the leaf itself is not large. So I make sure that the leaves look appropriately sized. I try not to buy anything where the leaves are like gigantic, where it'd be like the size of the whole entire villager's body, basically. So this is another one. And I just, this is like 2 or 3 different pieces in this one. And I got the floral tape and just made a trunk for it and put that little piece together for like a little multicolored tree. And the same thing with this one. You can see how small these berries are. And I did the same thing with the floral tape here. I also use a lot of stuff for bushes. So I'll buy like a big bunch of a floral that might be like $2 at Goodwill. They're floral packs there, or at Michael's, that when they have their sales between their seasons. And I just take the stems off of them. Let me see if I can get this. And this is what I actually put in the styrofoam. And then it looks like a little bush like that. So I try to stay creative. Okay, so Loy says, yes, Miriam, we've seen how you've treated your portfolio. Oh, yes, it's terrible. I'm being good to my new one, though. My new one is, this is the brand of the new one that I bought. I have used it, you guys. I'm just funny about putting stuff back in its original packaging. I try to keep everything in its original packaging so that it stays better longer. So one thing that I wanted to point out about this one, it comes with an extra blade. I made sure to do it this time in case I ruin it again. But so far, so good. But this blade actually cuts a lot better than my last one. Not only that, the blade itself is thinner, so it cuts through and doesn't melt away as wide of a line as this one does. The line actually stays thinner, and it heats up super quick and a lot more hot. It cuts through the foam a lot better. So I really like this particular brand. And I ordered this off of Amazon. I want to say it was like 20 bucks. This was the old one that I have. And it worked great too. There really wasn't anything wrong with this one. It was all user error why I ended up damaging it. But this works really well. But I noticed that the cut in the foam is a little bit wider. So if you're looking for more like precision in your lines, this one so far is working better for me with that. And while we're on tools really quick, I'll show you guys my favorite. This is a sculpting knife from Hotwire Foam Factory. You can find this on Amazon or order directly from the website. But the reason I love this thing is because you can you guys see this wire? You can move this headpiece and carve into the styrofoam and make really cool patterns with it. Oh, you can see it better against my black hair. So this thing, you can have it go wider like that and make a more shallow cut, or as thin as you want and go kind of deeper. So it works really well. I love this thing. This is one of my favorite tools to use. Okay. Hi, grumpy old man. Better late than never. So Liz says, I just bought the Hercules hot wire cutting table as a birthday gift for myself. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Have you used it yet, Liz? Paul says, Miriam, it's better on the knife than Michael Myers. You guys are funny. Michelle says, thanks, Liz. I tried. Oh my gosh, I must be so far behind. My comments keep moving as you guys comment. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find where I was. Okay, here we go. Michelle says, thanks, Liz. I tried one with styrofoam and small pebbles. So Mem Life answered Monica. If you didn't see that, Monica, it's a great tool. Yikes, spoons. I can't even imagine. Good luck. Practice as much as you can to get used to using the hot tools. Yes. Felicia, when in the year do you start your process? So Felicia, I generally always start my builds in September. And as soon as I'm done making my builds, I put my village up. So I usually have my entire village up by the end of October. This year, though, I think I'm going to start putting my village together in September. That way, I also can give you guys a little bit of extra time with some new things that I'm going to be trying out. If there are some things that you want to try and attack in a build, you'll have enough time to get it put together before the season hits. So I might actually start working on my village like the end of August, early September, so that I'm done. I want to be done this year by the end of September at the latest is my goal. But generally, even before I started YouTube, I would start my village in September. I would start my build and start working on my village like the 1st of October and have it done typically the middle of October. Eve, hello everyone, Mom here. Oh, hi Mama. Just had a minute to pop in. That's my mama, everybody. She has my kiddos right now. That's why it's quiet in my house. Liz, 139 Amazon. Oh, so that table cutter Liz was saying is $139 off of Amazon. That's not a bad investment. If you guys plan on making a lot of your own builds for your village, if you want to start attempting to do some of this stuff, that's actually not a bad price to get that table foam cutter. Michelle says, Liz, is that for Miriam? Oh, yeah. Pro on just as good, 116 on Amazon. Oh, so Liz said she found another table hot knife for $116 on Amazon, a hot wire table. So Paul says, I bought the Lemax Eggnog Factory last year, but the sound on it was so annoying that I never had it on. Lemax, need to improve on some of the models with sound. Paul, I actually never have the sound on any of my village pieces. I typically turn everything all the way down because I have a lot of pieces that move, and a lot of the moving pieces tend to have the music or sound with it. And to me, it just, all of those sounds just conflict with one another. So I typically don't turn on the music for any of my village pieces either. There is a swing set that I have that plays the 6 different Christmas songs that actually is kind of nice when the volume is turned down as kind of background music. That's probably the only one that, if I do keep anything on, that's the one I do. So Lloyd says, Joann's Fabrics will have 70% off sales on flowers, bushes, and picks from time to time. That's when I stock up. Yes, thank you, Lloyd. Because by using the floral picks and stems for trees and bushes and things like that, we need so many trees for our villages. You guys, this is my personal ratio. I want at least minimum 3 trees to every building or person. And I try to do in certain scenes, I want at least 7 trees per building. I know that might sound excessive, but trees make a village. So the more you can buy and just randomly place, and I mean trees of all different sizes and colors and shapes. I don't like just buying one tree. Like I have these long ones. This is about 18 inches tall. I got this one from Ross. It wasn't actually even for the village, but when I saw it, I was like, those are Christmas village trees. My mind is always on Christmas village stuff. So, and then again, using these, and then of course we all use these babies that I take the bases off of and just stick in my foam. That way it looks more natural. But when you know, like Joann's is having a sale, Michael's, Walmart, anywhere where you can find florals, the dollar store, actually, wait, the Dollar Tree? It's the Dollar Tree, right? The Dollar Tree, I have bought a few things from there. If you guys haven't seen my video that I just did for the 4th of July on how to make those placemats, check out that video, because in that video, I removed the little center piece so that I could just keep the petal for the placemats. I saved that center piece from those dollar store flowers because they make the perfect little village flowers to sprinkle out throughout the community. So you can really just reuse and repurpose so many things in so many different ways for your village. My mama says, Miriam, if you can read this, I'm doing something right. LOL. Tell Robin thank you for my carousel figurines. I love them. Mama, he can see your comment too. So, Robin, mom says thank you. She loves them so much. Thanks for coming back, Fardine. Robin says, Miriam, I purchased the Proxon hot wire table cutter from Amazon or Walmart online. It cuts straight lines and circles. Ooh, circles. That is actually really next level. That just like gave me so many ideas. 118 or cheaper if you look around. It is fantastic for styrofoam. Thanks, Robin. As much as I build, it's amazing how like minimal tools that I actually have to build things. I'm like Monica, where I like improvise using all these other things. Like a spoon. Michelle says, excuse me. Okay, Miriam, gotta jump off. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Michelle. On vacation with the grandkids in Florida, and they want to go out, but I want to be here. Oh, thank you so much for joining us on your vacation, Michelle. And we'll talk to you soon and see you next Saturday. So Monica says, Miriam, have you disabled the sound on any houses? And if so, how do you do it? There should be a volume button on any house that comes with music. You should be able to just turn that little knob that's typically in the back of the house. If your music box is inside, also they usually have on and off buttons for the music. So I would check underneath or in the back to see if your toggle switch to turn it on and off is there. If not, you'd have to try to find a way to penetrate that music box without breaking the piece. I know that Lemax has a few, and Department 56, where there is a square on the bottom of the building that can be popped off. Technically, it's glued on, but the music box will sit inside of that. So if you pop that off, and break apart the music box and then put it back together, just kind of like hot glue it back together. That's an option, but definitely try the volume adjuster first or the on and off switch. So Monica also says, I use St. Nicholas square pieces and some of the houses with sound to use the same adapter to light the house. Oh, really? Do they have a volume control then where you can turn it down? Paul said the same thing, that his has the volume dials so that you can turn it and minimize the sound. Mom, if you're still on, Robin said, you're entirely welcome. Enjoyed creating your Lemax Grand Carousel figurines for you. As a matter of fact, yours and your daughter's are better than my original set. LOL. They are fantastic. I do really love them. For those of you, if you're just hopping on, what Robin is talking about is he made these little figurine riders. I'm trying to get them all in my hands. Let me just do them one at a time. And I painted them. He sent them to me plain and primed already. So all I had to do was paint them. But the Grand Carousel, the Lemax Grand Carousel, does not have riders on them. So he designed and then printed them to have riders that all we have to do is like hot glue these down onto the horses. Because I love this carousel, but they did not have horses. So Robin is taking orders if you guys are interested. Honey, can you type in that email address again? Look for the comment from TMBDTM. He's going to give you guys again Robin's email address, redbird254@yahoo.com, if you want to order villagers for this Grand Lemax Carousel. He will take orders for them, and you can email him directly for pricing and all that good jazz. So let's see. Paul says, I love Lemax Moon. It's a lovely touch. Oh, the Lemax Moon. It's a lovely touch for any Christmas village. Paul, I literally just saw the moon like, I think last year. I had never seen it before, and I was watching someone's YouTube video online and just saw it for the first time, and I was like, what? I didn't know Lemax made that. So thank you so much for sharing that, because now I'm gonna get it. Okay, so Fardine says, I bought a real waterfall for $200 off Amazon for the village and wanted to test them out. You could put scents in the water, and I forgot that I had COVID and couldn't smell them. Aw. I saw another village that had real water in the waterfall as well, and it was such a beautiful touch. And then they had like a little bubbling stream, like a hot spring coming up from the lake. It was just so next level. I forgot Veronica's picture really quick. This is a waterfall, Veronica? That doesn't look like a waterfall to me. Waterfall for pond to use for ski slope. Oh, so you want to make a waterfall to put on top of this? I see this more so as being used as like the base of the lake. If you waterproof this for the lake portion, this is.
You can't make that out.
Yeah, I can't. I don't see any waterfall in this. So if am I looking at the picture wrong, Veronica? Are you still with us?
No, I mean, you show it to the.
Oh, you can't make it out?
Miriam's from.
You see it now? It's just a black plastic box. Is that what it looks like online?
No.
Oh, no, never mind. Veronica, I'll email you regarding this because I don't see a waterfall that you. Oh, here you are.
For an outside pond.
Oh, okay. So this will be the pond outside of the ski slope area.
Because of crevices it has.
Got it.
Yeah.
It is a waterfall that I wanted to use for a ski slope. It has crevices in it.
So you got to get a dimensional land kind of thing. Like peaks and valleys.
Yeah, but for a ski slope, you'd need the slope to be straight. You'd have to build up on top of this. You can do it. You can for sure do it. And if I were you, I would use plaster to secure it to a different base. But you can definitely use this to slide down.
Is that a foam base with a wrap over it?
No, it's plastic. It's hard plastic. So you can just adhere it with some plaster strips and glue and slope it down the way you want. So Mom says, Wani and I are both watching. Robin Miriam gets all the credit for how they look. Thanks, Mama. Hi, son. I love you since you're watching. You're welcome, Veronica. So, you guys, let me grab my Paradrop. And actually, I'm just going to move my computer and take you back with me. Because I want to show you guys this piece here. This is one of the Lemax pieces. It's been out for a couple of years for the Carnival. Isn't this so cute? So this one does come with volume. So it comes with this that you can turn the volume up or down. I can still have it on, but have the volume all the way down by using this switch as well. So that is one of them. The other one, look at these cocoa cups, you guys. Is this not the cutest thing ever? When I went to Disneyland as a kid, this was one of the rides that I remembered doing the most. And so when I saw it, that Lemax made this, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. This is the little like ticket booth guy that comes with it that you just set on wherever you want to next to it. But this is a pretty big piece. I want to say this is like 13 inches in diameter. So be mindful of that when you're buying any Carnival pieces because they are larger than the normal village pieces. This Paradrop, I think, is like, this piece is, I think, a 14 or 15 inches tall. It's not as wide, but it is very tall. And then the Grand Carousel is also a pretty wide base. I think this is like a 10-inch diameter here on the bottom. So just be mindful of that space-wise if you're going to do a Carnival. But I got these pieces and I have a few more that I don't have unboxed yet, but I wanted to share it with you guys because I'm just so excited. I actually get to do a Carnival this year and it's gonna look so cool. And I love the little lights. These are like the prettiest pieces, the way they light up at night. Okay, so let's see. Robin, when you are creating platforms to give height to your village with stairs, how thick is your styrofoam for height? It honestly just depends on what I'm building and for what space. Everything matters for what I do that year. I have never, you guys, created the same village twice. I always recreate a new layout. So every year I'm typically building something new, and I build it to go with that year's dimensions. So like for my mountain that I did right here, I did this with a 5-inch base, but it goes up to the very tippy top, 3 feet. But I needed to make the base tall enough because everything else that was around it, this mountain was the focal and the centerpiece of my village last year. So everything that was around it needed to be at ground level so that you could see each step going up. So I try to create my stairs with as much of a natural slope as I possibly can. So if I have one level of styrofoam and I am, excuse me guys, but I have foam right here, I want to grab for you. So if I have one layer of styrofoam and I want to go up to the next layer, I typically will only maybe double this. And that way I can have about 6 stairs in my next little layer going up. I try to keep each platform layer max like 4 inches. That way I can have my stairs have a natural incline up without it looking steep like this. I did do my mom's piece, her carnival, her platform that went behind her church last year. And those stairs were super steep because the platform itself was 18 inches tall, but I only had 10 inches of width to work with. So the stairs did kind of come in at a steeper angle, but where it was going in her village, she just didn't have any other choice. We only had so much space to work with. So I definitely am mindful of creating pieces that look as natural as possible, but also it definitely determines just what the layout is going to be for that year. You love the cups? I know I love the cups too. They're so awesome. Yes, Paul, that motor is a little bit loud on the carousel. It does kind of click a little bit too because the horses go up and down. So it's not so much the motor you hear as much as you can hear the little springs that are adjusting the horse and the rider up and down. You can hear it. Yeah, the mechanism. So it seems better if you maybe leave the volume just a little bit up, or maybe turn the volume up on another piece that you like the sound too. So Monica says, OMG, Lemax has such cool stuff. I'm going to have to integrate some pieces. Yes, they have fantastic pieces. I absolutely love the creativity of the team and what they end up coming up with and bringing to life for us so that our villages come alive a little bit more. And they just come up with some very awesome pieces. Monica says, I can't wait to see the carnival when you finish it. I know, me too. I'm like itching. As soon as I just got these pieces, you guys, like, what, baby? 2 weeks ago. I have been chomping at the bit wanting to get started, but I did have some other things with my day job that I had to get taken care of first. And I'm almost wrapped up with a few things. So I'm like so excited to get started on creating my carnival and getting all of the pieces put together. Fardine says, I have Lemax Caddington and it's amazing. I recommend. Awesome. Thanks, Fardine. MemLife says, I currently only have Department 56 and Lemax pieces, but I'm interested in Thomas Kincaid. Are the dimensions similar? I have over 60 buildings and I'm concerned on how to incorporate any brand. They are not the same. at all. All of the Thomas, I have, I think, 3 different Thomas Kincaid buildings. They run significantly smaller than the Lemax and the Department 56, I noticed. And not only that, just some of the Thomas Kincaid pieces that I've seen in other people's homes, they're always smaller. So if you want all of your buildings and houses to be roughly the same, I would stick with kind of those similar brands that you know you can incorporate together. Me, myself, I will buy any piece that I love because I know I can make and design it in a way in which I can make it work. So for example, the little Thomas Kincaid house that I showed you here, it's small. And look at how small it is compared to, let me grab this other one. Oh man,
I'll just bring the laptop over to you.
okay, that'll work. My light got stuck in it. So you can see the difference in the sizes of these 2 houses to see truly how vastly different the brand size is. This house can fit inside of this one. So that's definitely something to consider when you are buying a Thomas Kincaid piece. But you can see, like, I use mine on a ledge where it's by itself for that mountain peak. So if you're kind of separating those pieces into their own little space, or for example, like even in my mom's village, she did 2 different neighborhoods last year in her village where she had one that was a little bit more upscale and one that was a little bit more plain. But you could get away with it doing it that way so that you're not noticing the village pieces being so vastly different in size. Okay, so Robin says, Miriam, according to Dave from eHobby Tools, the snowflake paradrop must be turned on and off manually with the paradrops down, not with a remote control device. Can burn out the computer chip. So I read through the instructions very carefully for the paradrop because I talked to Dave and he told me the same thing. What the instructions say is when it is turned off, to make sure that the umbrellas are in the down position, and to also not return the piece on right away if after you've turned it off. So once you turn it off, you have to wait a cycle of at least 10 seconds before you restart the machine because it can malfunction otherwise, because the strings and stuff inside of there, the motor and stuff has to reset itself. So I have not yet tried it with my remote. Dave, I think, has made me a little bit nervous about it, which is why I even hooked it up separately than what the Carousel and the teacups are on. But reading through the instructions, I think I'm going to try it. I do feel comfortable. I didn't see anything in there that said that you can't use it with a remote. It did say to unplug the piece after usage. But I will just always have to be mindful when turning off my village where those umbrellas are at, making sure they are in the down position and not turning it back on right away. That seemed like the biggest thing that they were focused on, that it malfunctions because people are turning it on too quickly after they turned it off. But I will keep you posted with that. Yeah, I will try it so you don't have to. And I'll let you know how it goes. That way your piece won't get ruined if I'm wrong. So MemLife says, oh, wow, thanks for sharing that. I am visual, so that helped. Oh, good. I'm glad. I also, MemLife, I'm going to be doing more like in-depth product reviews on some of these pieces that I just received. So I will have probably about 5 videos coming out. I'm going to try to get them all done for Christmas in July. So you might see like an influx of videos from me on that. but I want to individually give you that time to see like how the pieces work, pros and cons, and different things like that for some of these pieces, because these pieces, the Carnival pieces, they are a larger investment. They're typically right at $100 or more. So it's definitely more of an investment versus buying just regular buildings and things like that. So I want to give you my feedback, what I'm seeing with some of these, and if that'll help. Okay, so Fardine says, do you have any tips when using a ski lift? Fardine, do you mean like an automated ski lift? I actually do not have one, but Robin does. Robin, have you hooked up your the German brand one? I can't remember the name of it, but I know that it was the German brand ski lift, the one that I've been eyeing for like 3 years. Robin actually got it. It's awesome. So he can definitely answer that question for you, Fardine. So Paul says, can you still buy the Lemax traffic light signals in the US, as you can't buy them anymore in the UK and they're rarely seen for sale on eBay? I think I have some of those and I don't use them. Paul, where are you located? Are you in the US? Oh, but they're rarely seen in the UK, so you are in the UK. So I was gonna say, maybe I can mail them to you, but mailing them to the UK will cost quite a bit. I would check eHobby on that, Paul. They do ship worldwide. So I would check with them and see if those street lights are still for sale through them. Otherwise, I don't know. That's the best that I could do. It's ehobbytools.com. They have everything. So if they don't have it, I don't know who would really. Do you have any tips when using a ski lift? Like tips to do with landscaping? Oh, okay. I see. For me, the ski lift that I just did last year, if you haven't seen that video, I love for the snow on the ski lift to look beautiful and thick and fluffy. I lay a layer of cotton snow over it first, and then I use the snow flurries, and then I even put fine snow over that, which makes the snow itself look more realistic. And then from there, a good ski lift is all about the accessories you use. So Lemax has a ski racing net that, you know, you can zigzag for the racers and skiers going down your ski slope. There's tubers and just evergreens even throughout. Like, make the landscape look like natural landscape that you would see in a ski lift area. I recommend when you want to build anything, get inspiration pictures that you want to work with. Look up regular pictures in nature and then try to recreate that. That way you can kind of get a visual of what you're trying to simulate, and it helps you design your own layout a lot better. And then it also helps you know what accessories to purchase. But evergreen trees are huge in a ski area, in my opinion. I love seeing a lot of evergreens, a bunch of different shapes and sizes, rock formations within there, because it is going to be a mountainous area. And then I love bringing in like the different types of skiers, the racers, the tubers, and different things like that. Monica last year added lights going down her ski slope, and it was so cute. I love it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I really want to do that this year, because the lights on the ski slope going down help to highlight your skiers too, which aren't always visible in the evening times in our homes unless you have a spotlight on it. But I just love the little lights that she used going down the ski slope on the sides of the ski slope. It really highlighted the entire ski slope that she created. So I hope that helps. You're welcome, Paul. Thanks, Monica. Monica says she has to leave now. Thanks for joining us for the day. Okay, so Fardine says, I will find the name of it off of Amazon. Okay. Grumpy Old Man says, I'm still here just watching and learning. Last week I spent around $2,000. Whoa! Buying Department 56 Dickens Village pieces. Weird thing is, I have no idea where to start. I am so green at this stuff. Aw. Have you seen my quick tip videos, Grumpy Old Man? I feel weird calling you Grumpy Old Man, but it's the only handle name you have. They give you a lot of good basic information as to where to start with using simple styrofoam pieces to create levels and add a little dimension in your platform basis. Also, the technical side of things. We get so caught up in buying all of these beautiful village pieces, and I know we're all the same. Like, we see something in the store, I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta have it. And then before you know it, we have so many buildings that it's like, what am I gonna do with all of this stuff? How am I gonna lay it all out? And behind the scenes, there's cords galore for everything. So you have to be mindful of that kind of stuff too. So Grumpy Old Man, just a few good quick tips for you. There are strands of lights that come 5 bulbs to 1 cord, or even 6 bulbs to 1 cord, 1 power outlet. And when you have several buildings, that is good to light up houses and buildings that way, because you're not using, you don't end up with 6 different cords for 6 different houses. So it really helps save on the electrical space. Also, I didn't grab it. I meant to grab it. I have a 12-foot power outlet that I bought from Amazon. It is on, I think, my last quick tip video that I did. So check out, I have Christmas Village quick tip video 1, 2, and 3. Check those out. They're really going to help. But your power outlets, the power cords, with space between each outlet, so that you can plug in your adapters that have your buildings that come with adapters that are wider, as well as the smaller light bulb lights. But check those Christmas Village quick tip videos out. They have a lot of good, useful information, basic information, especially since you're just getting started, that will help you. Also, you can always comment me with anything you need. Also, you can email me. Anyone can attest to this. I do answer back always. You can email me at miriamsmanor@gmail.com. So email me there or comment me on one of the videos you're watching, and I can help directly answer whatever questions you may have going forward. Oh, you're in Liverpool. Yeah. If you were in the US, I would ship it to you, Paul, the little street lights that light up, because I have them and I don't use them. Yes. Fardine is giving the name of that automated ski lift. Jagerndorfer, I would pronounce that. I probably said it wrong. Okay. My husband is saying I did. But that thing is so awesome. The last time I saw it priced was right under $400 for that piece. But you talk about a piece bringing a whole new level of life and dimension to your village. It's just next level. Every village that I've seen it in, I have just been like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So that is the one, Fardeen, that Robin has. So I know, Robin, if you're still on, you can help her with that. $335 on Amazon. It went down. That's exciting. Okay, I can't get to the eHobby website either. It's ehobbytools.com. So EHOBBYTOOLS as in Sam.com. Ramin, you ordered it too? Oh, you guys have to send me your village videos when you get up this ski lift. I saw that and I have wanted it for a long time, but I just am not willing to spend that money on it yet. But it is so awesome. It's such a beautiful piece. I love it. Eve says, this is for grumpy old man. I wish I could spend $2,000 in a day on village pieces. Just stay tuned in Miriam's videos. She'll help you with everything. So you guys, let me see if I can get this to where you can see. This is that automated ski lift that they're talking about. And the ski chairs and like the little gondolas, they move and circle back up and down and all the way around. It is so awesome. Just for those of you who haven't seen it yet, it's fantastic. Grumpy old man, I wish I could spend $2,000 on one day too on Christmas stuff. Nobody in my house would see me because I would be too busy playing with all my new Christmas stuff.
The eHobby Tools website is not functioning.
What?
Yeah, it's basically saying they might be trying to get your personal information and financial information. So
that is so weird. Okay, you guys, I will call Dave and try to figure out what's going on with that because I've never actually had that happen before. Dave is with eHobby Tools, so I will call him and see what's going on. That's weird. Aw, grumpy old man, he's already watched everything I made. You're so cute. Okay, bye, Fardeen. We'll see you next time. And I hope to see you soon too. Okay, so Veronica said, I just found this site listed above for coupons for eHobby. Veronica, you found coupons for eHobby? Please do share. I have never seen coupons for eHobby. Liz, does anyone here do egg carton art? I've never even, I mean like eggs that you cook?
the carton.
The egg carton? That?
The styrofoam.
My kids had a thing for a little craft to make like little turtles out of the egg carton. Fardeen says, that's the one that's in my basket right now. Oh, you guys are all getting this awesome thing. eHobby, I think it has a security issue. Oh dear. Paul says, I buy a German brand called Louisville as well, which is very similar to Lemax. They have some nice pieces. Louisville, sorry. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna actually write that down. Do you have a pen in here, honey? Okay, thanks, babe. Yeah, because I haven't actually heard of that brand. So I'm excited to check that out, Paul. Thanks for sharing that because we all could use a little help when it comes to knowing different brands, different products, what you like about them, what you don't. I do love Department 56 houses as well. I love more their houses than their buildings. I feel like the houses are designed really beautifully. Some of their buildings can get a little cheesy at times, but I do love.
They do like Harry Potter stuff. Christmas village.
Oh, Paul, we just looked up LaVille. Oh my gosh. Guys, look at this. These pieces are gorgeous.
Yeah, that's Harry Potter.
I know.
But they can't probably couldn't tell. It's not as easy to see on screen. Right.
Gorgeous.
Mountains and everything.
Castles. Oh my gosh, they sell the mountains too?
Mountains and castles. Hogwarts Castle.
Okay, so Grumpy Old Man says, is your mountain that is behind you made of just styrofoam? No way could I ever make something like that. I'm about as artistic as a mule. Yes, Grumpy Old Man. This entire thing is made out of styrofoam and partially paper. So it is very inexpensive to make so far as the form is concerned. The styrofoam, there might be $20 worth of styrofoam in this thing. And I used paper that was part of my kids' old homework assignments. It's the paper that I used in there. So that and plaster, just bought plaster strips. The plaster I think I used about $50 worth of plaster for this thing because this is huge. Normally I would spend about $20 to $25 in plaster on an average size build, but this piece is definitely super sized. So I think it was about $50 to $60 in plaster on that. But I think that if you just take your time, if you want to attack a project on your own, there's creativity in all of us. We just have to tap into it. And that's one of the reasons why I actually wanted to start my channel. I started Christmas villaging and I saw some of these pieces when I would watch other people's YouTube Christmas village videos. And I was just blown away. Like, how did they do that? Where did they buy that from? I thought people were buying these things. And then I stumbled across someone's video that was actually making them. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to make my own mountain. And lo and behold, I felt like there were so many steps of the process that was skipped that I just failed. Like my first mountain, it came out good, don't get me wrong, but there were a lot of mistakes that I made because they weren't covered in the video. And so as I got better at doing it and just kept practicing, I'm very tenacious. I won't give up. Like if I bomb at something the first time, I'm just going to try it again. So that's what I did. And I just kept trying and I got better and better as I kept going. And I remember telling my husband one day, like, I really want to help people build these things because it had got to the point where people were coming in my house and I was teaching people how to build these things and doing like little classes of mountain building and village diorama builds. And so I told my husband, there's got to be more people. I've got people coming to my house to learn how to do this. There's got to be more people out there who are struggling with this thing the way I struggled and every other beginner that I know. And I feel like maybe I can offer some help in some of these areas. So that's why this channel was created in the first place, was to help out with this type of stuff. And I just thought I want to put together true like step-by-step videos to teach people how to do this stuff on their own. Some of the things, like all of the products that I used to build these things, were the very first time I used them in life when I started building these things. So I just kept trying and I got better and I got better, and I wanted to share that with all of you. So I think, Grumpy Old Man, give it a shot. At least it's something small. Start really small and make a little hill or maybe a little pond, you know, and try your hand at it. And that way you can personalize your village and add those special touches to it that much more. And also my problem is just generally, I have an image in my head of something that I want to see or designed a certain way. And when I can't find that and buy it in a store, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to make it. I make a lot of stuff simply because what I see in my head, I can't ever find in a store. So if it's furniture or wall art or Christmas village stuff, I end up making it because I can't find what I'm looking for. So but I do think we all have a little bit of creativity in us, in that if you kind of just start small, I think you'd be surprised what you can achieve, and you'll surprise yourself. Ramin says, did you have pieces shipped from Europe? How is shipping cost and tax? No, I never did. Or was that comment for someone else? Ramin.
Right.
Rahan? Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Grumpy Old Man says, would you take $150 for your mountain? I actually spent about $225-ish to make this one. So if you want to pay $225 plus the shipping, you can have it. So Robin says, planning on making a large lake this year with Woodland Scenics, realistic waterways, etc. How do you keep it from leaking water out?
Good question.
Robin, this was my biggest problem in my first. My husband is laughing because he knows this is the truth. I was so frustrated when I first started building because I'm watching all of these people do this stuff and they're not using any barriers. They just bought this foam that I couldn't find what foam they were using, and it never leaked. And I was like, what in the world is going on? Mine leaked like crazy. I bought 3 different bottles of realistic water, having to keep refilling it and topping it off because it all would just leak through the bottom of the foam. So what I do is use regular white glue. You can use Mod Podge, Elmer's glue, any type of regular white glue. After I've already created my lake area and formation, first I glue that entire area. I let that white glue completely dry, and then I plaster over it. And I put 2 layers of plaster on it to completely seal it up. Then I am free to pour my realistic water and it doesn't leak. Now, all of the resins do have a bit of shrinkage as they dry and harden. What I have found, because I've used about 3 different brands, I do love the Woodland Scenics products because they do have minimal shrinkage. I don't have to keep adding additional layers because as it dries, it's shrinking back. So you should expect some shrinkage with any type of resin that you're using. However, you shouldn't have any leakage. So since I have been using the formula that I use with the white glue first and the plaster, I have never had a leak issue since. And I've built about 6 or 7 different lakes after that. So I've had really good success so far. So I know it should work for you guys too. Grumpy Old Man says, the area I have set out to make my village is 20. What? I will come help you set up your village. That is like Candyland for me. He says it's 24 feet long and 5 feet wide. My mind is blown. You will have officially the largest village I have probably ever seen. That is going to be amazing. Grumpy Old Man, when you get it together, please, please, please send me a picture. Or you're gonna have to send a video with that one. That'll be too long to capture in a picture. He says, my wife just told me I have to learn how to make my own mountains. Your mountain is worth $250 for sure. Yeah, so if you were to buy this in a store, because there are people on Etsy who do sell these things. No one has ever made anything this big online to sell, but they'll make just regular platform bases and sell those for about $125. And I'm talking just something this tall and about this wide. It's actually pretty pricey, the prices on this. I could probably sell this one for at least $500 all day long if I wanted to and make a good profit. That's why it's better to just learn how to do it yourself and save all that money, because truly the materials, unless you're going like over the top, they're not that expensive to build an average size mountain. Now you're working with 24 feet, so depending on the layout, you'll need a lot of structural support in there, a lot of different builds I'm sure you'll probably have to do, but with 24 feet, you're going to want to make your own and save a ton of money, because otherwise you'd be paying out the wazoo. But you just dropped $2,000 on Department 56. Okay, so Paul says, Holy Art Christmas Villages is another good company for great pieces for your Christmas villages as well, Miriam. Thank you. Hey, can you write that down? Holy Art Christmas. I'm definitely going to check that out too. I haven't heard of that one either. Oh, they're not in America. That's why. Man.
Sure they ship international.
Yeah, hopefully they ship internationally. So Felicia says, do you have a video for your waterfall lake? Yes, I do. Let me tell you what it's titled, because I can't honestly remember. It is called How to Make Waterfall and Ripples in Lake. So you can check that one out. And in that video, I made the waterfall and the actual ripples. So you can see how to do that. Oh, and if you are going to be doing the ripples, once you do the ripples, just to give you an idea, like on the brushes. So this brush is what I actually use to make the ripples with. A flat brush like this that I just poke up to paint the top of those ripples though, so that the water looks like it's frothing. The best brush that I've ever used for that is more like this kind of wide wispy brush that has like a bunch of small little bristles sticking out on top, and it's very thin. This brush is the brush that I use to paint just the tips of the peaks of the little ripples in the water. You don't want to get too much paint on the lake portion itself, because then it doesn't look like frothing ripples. It just looks like a painted mess. So get a brush like this where you have little strings that are a little bit taller than the rest of the brush. Barely wet the tip. As a matter of fact, when you wet the tip of this, dab it on a piece of like a paper towel first, and then gently just brush the very top of the ripples to create that like frothing water look. Raham says, Miriam, where are you located? I am in Arizona, in this hot desert right now with all of these wildfires taking off. Raham says, I am in Florida, do not have any friends here with villages, so I am so thankful for you. Oh, I'm thankful for you too, for watching and following along. When I first started villaging, I didn't know anyone who villaged either. So it was tough because I literally learned everything by trial and error and wasting money, which is why, again, I started this, because I'm like, there's other people out there like me, I know there is, who need help. So it's definitely my pleasure to be able to help you all, especially first-time villagers, or just even you all who've been doing this for a while, who want to take your villages to the next level. And what you'll find is the more you do this, you'll find more people who village. In my case, I felt like my mother and I actually inspired more people to start villaging around us. We ended up having a lot of people who started villaging because they saw our villages. So that was really cool too. So then you can kind of create your own village family within your own community. Because it is nice when you have someone to share this with. That's why I love even doing this with you all, because we're all of the same mind. And we're all a little bit obsessed with villaging. So it's nice to be able to share that passion with other people who have the same passion as you. Eve says, yes, Paul, thanks for that info. We'll check it out as well. Robin says, Hobby Lobby just has put their Christmas decorating decor out. Now, what? Oh, probably to celebrate Christmas in July, but oh my gosh, thank you, Robin. I will be going to Hobby Lobby. Grumpy Old Man says, I'm in Colorado. E says, good to know, Robin. I've been checking eHobby and most everything I wasn't sure was available to the end of September. No, Mom. He said Hobby Lobby, not eHobby. So Hobby Lobby has Christmas stuff out now, not eHobby. Liz says, grumpy old man, I am also in Colorado. See, this is how we can create our village families. And my village is the same size as yours. What? Holy moly. Liz, you have got to send me pictures of this massive village. E said, oh, sorry, I thought it was eHobby, not Hobby Lobby. Okay, so can you guys think of any other questions that I can answer for you today on anything? I feel like we've covered a lot of good information with tools and trees and products. Honey, can you think of anything you might want to add?
Nope, we're good to go. So next week.
Okay, so I got to bounce, but thank you for everything, Miriam. You inspire me. You are very welcome. Thank you so much for joining us and checking and chatting in with us, Liz. You are very welcome, grumpy old man. He said, thank you for all your help. You're very, very welcome. It's my pleasure. How can look so good at 9 a.m. on Saturday? I wake up very early in the morning every day.
Like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so I have time to get up and do stuff with myself. Mem Life, electrical conversation would be a good topic next time. Mem Life, are you able to join next Saturday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time? Love you too, Mama. You're welcome, Veronica. Okay, perfect. I meant to pull out my power outlets. I do have some of the stuff that I use, but we can definitely talk electrical in more depth and detail next week. I have a whole slew of things, from timers to remotes to power outlets, how to save on outlet usage, surge protectors, all that good jazz. We can talk about a lot more in depth next Saturday. Nikita says, hi, Miriam. You definitely inspired me to start my Christmas village. I'm a little late. We'll have to watch the replay. Yes, I'll have that replay posted. And we also, Nikita, are getting together next Saturday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Braham says, thanks again. See you on Saturday. Perfect. So you guys, if there are no more questions, we can go ahead and, oh, there's a few more that just came through. Hang on. Thank you for your live stream. It was fantastic. You are very welcome, Robin. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for helping and always being a constant. And you are always very encouraging and helpful. And I really appreciate your support and I thank you for it. Paul says, Miriam, do you ever buy any vintage pieces or do you just buy the newer modern stuff? I do have some older pieces, but I don't have enough of them to really put a good display together. And I am all about creating an entire scene. So, excuse me, I typically don't use them much. And I do use a few of them in my daughter's village because she actually really loved one of them. So I ended up shifting those over to her and her village. Mim Life says, okay, great. I will send you pics for the next forum. Awesome. I love that. You guys definitely send me pictures of what you're working with. I know some of you have already seen your villages and I still have some of your footage, but for those of you who haven't sent me your villages, send them to me for the next live stream. I would love to see them. You can email me at miriamsmanor@gmail.com. Lloyd G says, Miriam, you're super awesome. Been so much fun and very informative. Can't wait to get started. You too, Lloyd. Thank you so much. And you are the same. Lloyd watches every single video that I make and comments with so much love and support. And I so appreciate you because I know there are a few of you that I can always count on for like good, honest feedback on anything. So I really do appreciate the love and support. Have a great weekend too, Mem Life. Omashi says, thank you so much. I hope to see you next weekend. Ditto. Dawn. Hey, Dawn. It says, can't wait. Can't find the white insulation foam and large sheets. Have you found any in stock? I have. I bought one a couple months ago, actually. Was that from the link that I sent you like 2 weeks ago? Or so, you might want to take that to maybe a different Lowe's location. Also, Home Depot sells that exact same sheet. So if you don't find it at Lowe's, you can use that link, print out what you're looking for, and just take it into Home Depot, and they'll be able to help you locate it. Also, if you can't find that particular one at Lowe's, they do have others there that just have different thicknesses. They all are 4 by 8 feet sheets, but they range in thickness from like a 1/2 inch, 1.5, 1 inch. So maybe if you even just go down to the 1 inch instead of the 1.5 inch, you might be able to find it there. But that's something that is super standard. So I would just call them and see when they're expecting their next shipment in, because that's something that they have there all the time. It's generally not tough to find. I hope that helps, Don. You are welcome, Felicia. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I will see you guys next weekend. Happy Christmas in July. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.